At 43 years of age, most people still remember Steve Borthwick as a player rather than a coach. He was an absolute stalwart for Bath, for Saracens and for England during his playing days. He turned out a massive 246 times for Bath and 144 times for Saracens. He also racked up 51 caps for England during that time. While playing for England between 2001 and 2010, he kind of kept that at the end with about 2 years between 2008 and 2010, where he was captain of the team until he was dropped. His rugby brain is, however, definitely highly regarded because as soon as he moved away from playing, he actually stepped into some very prominent coaching roles. His first gig as a coach was as the assistant coach for Japan between 2012 and 2015. From there, he coached Bristol for a very short couple of months in 2015 before he moved on to being the assistant coach for the English side from 2015 to 2020. During that time, he also picked up a World Cup silver medal. After the World Cup, he moved on to Leicester Tigers, where he coached from 2020 till 2022. The next jump he took from there was actually into the England head coach position, which is a massive one for any coach in the UK. He's been the victim of some harsh criticism in the time that he's been in charge of England, which I don't think is completely fair, because he only took over from Eddie Jones a couple of months ago, and he inherited a bit of a dysfunctional England team that he took over. Just a couple of months out from the World Cup, it is a tall order to actually turn a team from a little bit of a disaster into one that is actually competitive. But he's starting to make some strides in that regard, and there are a few glimpses of the England that we used to know coming through. He's, however, getting a lot of scrutiny from the English rugby public in general. For the first couple of months, there was very little to get excited about when it came to the games that he was coaching. However, that victory against Argentina was a fairly convincing one, and they looked good at times. And now, over the last weekend, they picked up another victory, looked fairly convincing again. They're definitely not the team that was just racking up Six Nations tournaments left, right, and centre, and winning Grand Slams and getting to the World Cup final. But this is a first step for them. I'm not so sure he will actually get the success that he hopes for, or that the English public hopes for during this World Cup. But I just hope that they keep him in this position so that he can grow with this team. Very rarely has an accomplished player just stepped into a coaching role at this level. There must be something said for it. There's a lot of high IQ rugby brains in England, and they wouldn't have selected him through the years to actually take on top coaching roles if he wasn't up to it. I'm not saying he's going to be England's Andy Farrell. It is definitely too early to tell. Hopefully, we just see him around still next year. Maybe he can take another step up in the Six Nations and then grow from there. And you never know. It might be that 2024 turns into a really good year for England. But sadly, I think it is just a little bit too much to ask to hope for a miracle turnaround now in this World Cup.